Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl, Angela Smith of the Anjanelle Online Sewing University, where we help you to master the basics, build your skill set and confidence, and create some of the hottest trends. And we do it all virtually. So I wanted to do one more course for my beginners out there. You should be warmed up off of the original videos that I posted with the straight stitches, but now we're going to take it a step further. If you can master all of these stitches that I'm about to show you, we can definitely get you sewing like a pro. I mean, literally, any garment that you want to create, you don't have to worry about your stitching, okay? So I have some exercises that I formulated for you guys to really get you going and really get you practicing, okay? So I want you to be as comfortable as possible, grab you a drink, light a candle, and just really get comfortable because you're going to be on your machine for a while. But again, these exercises can take you to the next level. First thing I want you to do is grab some fabric, and you may need about 1 yard of fabric. I just have some cotton here, and I want you to cut 12 by 12 by 12 by 12 inch pieces, okay? So you're going to have a big square, and it's going to be 12 inches all the way around, okay? That's the size that I came up with for you guys. Pick a fabric that makes you happy because, again, you're going to be on your machine for a while doing these exercises. So pick something that makes you feel good. I just have, some cotton that I had in my stash. What I want you to do on your machine, I don't want you to use your widest stitch, which is number 10 on mine. Literally for almost every garment that requires a straight stitch, I'm sewing with either 8 or 9. Okay, so this exercise, I will do nothing but what I typically do. Okay, so I'm going to go to number 9. That's what I'm going to sew with. And the very first thing that I want you to do, we're going to do some squares. Okay, so you should have your machine threaded, and I want you to line your fabric up with the side of your foot, okay? Line that up. Put your foot down. Don't forget to backstitch, so let's go. So I want you to go all the way down to the end of your square, keeping it as straight as possible. Then what I want you to do, when you make it down to the end, I want you to do a back stitch. Then I want you to come back to the end of that stitch, lift your foot, turn your fabric around, okay? Put the foot back down, and now you want to do your other side. So we're basically going all the way around this square. All right, so with this exercise, what I want you to do is fill up your entire piece of fabric. So now that you have your first square, you're going to do the same thing, but this time you're just going to line your foot up with the stitch that you just did. So you see how the side of my foot is lined up with my green stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down. Don't forget, go forward, go backwards. Don't forget your back stitch, guys. I want you to back stitch at every corner. And I want you to, again, fill up this fabric. Just like I had you to do with the other exercise, I want you to do that exact same thing with the squares. So keep going. Don't get discouraged. If you notice that you're a little bit off, that's perfectly fine, you guys. It's an exercise, which means you have to practice. Practice makes perfect, okay? So keep going. You see that I'm just working on my second square. And don't think that you have to go as fast as me either, guys, because keep in mind, you know, I've been sewing for a very long time now. So I can go much faster than most people, okay? So just keep this going. And let's finish up. Okay, and so your second square, literally, you should see a back stitch in every corner, okay? Every corner. So keep doing this, fill the entire piece of fabric, then move on to the next exercise. All right, so for this exercise, again, I cut out a 12 by 12 by 12 by 12 piece, okay? And I just grabbed a bowl out of my kitchen and I drew a circle. I want you to do different size circles, okay? And you can even cut the circle out if you like. I just kept mine on the square. And you know what's next. Go on your sewing machine, pick a starting point, put your needle down. Don't forget to backstitch. And I want you to go all the way around the circle. Now listen. You have to be very careful with circles, you guys. This will come in handy in so many ways, especially the first one that comes to mind is putting in a sleeve, which used to be one of the hardest things for me to do in fashion school. I mean, I could literally shed tears. It was so hard for me. But this exercise will make it so easy because you're going in circles. So that's going to get you ready to start going around curves, okay? So you're going to do this circle. Then I want you to do just like we did with the squares. Do another one and another one and another one till you get in the middle and fill up the entire circle. All right, so for your next exercise, okay, and I want you to get another 12-inch piece out. We're going to transition, okay? Let's get into the zigzag stitches, okay? We have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5. I'm not going to make you do a piece for each individual stitch. However, I am going to make you do all 4 of the stitches. So, start with number 2. Line your foot up, and I want you to do zigzag stitches. Don't forget your back stitch. This time I want you to just do straight stitches, okay? Just a straight stitch. I really want you to see the difference in all 4 of your zigzag stitches. You're going to see the smallest one, the wider one, the widest one. You're going to be able to see all of those, you guys. This will come in handy because zigzag stitches are very, very important when you're working with stretchy fabrics, when you're working with elastic, when you're, so those 2 alone is major. And even though it's a zigzag stitch, it's very important for you to do it extremely straight, okay? So we're going to do zigzag stitches. So I want you to do number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. If your numbers are different, then just, do what you have. And then I want you to repeat until your fabric is completely full, okay? Speed it up for you guys. Okay, so here, see the difference in those zigzag stitches? So again, all 4 until your square is completely filled. Oh, let me add this with the zigzag stitch. Another thing I want you to do after you do all of your stitches, I want you to go on the very edge. If you do not yet have a serger, this will take the place of a serger. Again, so many different uses for zigzag stitches. I want you to go to about don't do your widest stitch, but maybe the one right before. So for me, that would be number 3. And what you're going to do, I'm going to zoom this in for you. What you're going to do is, instead of lining up your foot like we were doing before, you're going to put your fabric about midway, so in the middle of your foot. And what you're going to do is your zigzag stitch. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you see, my fabric isn't lined up with my foot. My fabric is actually in the middle of the foot. I just wanted to point that out again. Next stitch. And look at that edge. We went from a raw edge to this on our edge. It takes the place. If you don't have a serger on the inside of all of your garments, you can literally just do a zigzag stitch and it will keep it from fraying as well. All right, so the last exercise, okay, are you ready for this? Buttonholes. Keep in mind, buttonholes can be a little bit tricky because in order to do the hole, you have to switch your dowel 4 different times, okay? Do you remember me pointing this out when we did your machine walkthrough, okay? AC is where you're going to start. So move your dowel to AC if you have a brother machine like I do. And it's going to go back and forth, okay? Watch this. Look at my needle. It's hopping like this, back and forth. Then what you want to do, next, you're going down. So we're going to D. We're going down the right side of our buttonhole. You need to make sure that your needle is on the right side because keep in mind, it's jumping. AC, 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 AC. So it's doing a back and forth stitch like this. You need to make sure your needle ends on the right side. Why? Because you're about to go down like the picture shows you, okay? So I'm going to put my needle on my right side, switch it to D, and watch. We're going to go down. Usually a buttonhole is only about an inch, inch and a half. So I went down a little bit. Now what do we do next? We're going to go back to AC. So it doesn't matter what side your needle is on when you're doing AC. It matters when you're doing D and when you're doing B, okay? Because this one is going down the right side and B is going up the left side. So I'm going to switch back to AC to get the bottom part of my buttonhole. And I don't count, but usually I do about 7 or 8 stitches when I do AC. Now my needle, I'm going to make sure it's down on the left side, and we're going to close up our buttonhole, okay? I usually slide my fabric over just a little bit so that I have space inside of my buttonhole, because if you know anything about a buttonhole, you're actually going to slit it in the middle, okay? So my needle is down on my left side. I'm going to change my dial to B, and this is going to take a lot of practice, guys. And now we're going to go back up and complete the buttonhole. when you see going back to the top, switch to AC really quick. Do a couple of stitches to secure it. Lift up your foot. Cut. And you can do it after each buttonhole, or you can wait. This is what your buttonhole should look like. You can do it after each buttonhole, or you can wait. I'm just going to fold it a little bit to show you what a buttonhole is supposed to look like. And I'm just going to do a small snip. This is what, oops, there we go. This is what a buttonhole looks like. And you want to be careful. Usually I take one of my sharp blades and put my slit in there. I don't use scissors, but for this exercise I am. And imagine a button going through that hole. Okay, so you're going to do as many buttonholes as you possibly can, you guys. Again, if you complete all of these exercises, you can definitely get to sewing like a professional, you guys. You will be more comfortable when you're creating any type of garments, when you're working with any type of fabric, any type of material. You'll have that practice, okay? So I'm doing the exercises as well. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect, you guys. See you on the next video. I actually have a beginner's project that I want you to complete. It is a circle skirt. I want you to do that next. It will be in this beginner's bundle. See you on the next video.